Somewhere in the quiet stillness of an early morning, 2 cups of coffee sit cooling on a kitchen table. The conversation is soft, familiar. It's been decades: birthdays, grandkids, illnesses, recoveries, laughter in silence, and the language of glances. But lately something feels different. Not wrong, just quieter. The spark that once danced in the air now flickers gently, like a candle shielded from the wind, not extinguished, but needing a little care. If you've ever looked across the room at your partner and wondered where the butterflies went, you're not alone. It's not that love disappears, it changes. It softens, deepens, sometimes hides under the weight of routine and the passage of time. And yet, inside every long-term relationship, especially after 60, lives the tender hope that the flame can still burn bright. That intimacy doesn't have to fade, that connection isn't reserved for the newlyweds, and that romance can still surprise us, even after all these years. Many couples silently ask the same question: is this just how it is now? But what if the answer is no? What if the most meaningful moments, the kind that make your heart feel young, are still waiting ahead? This video isn't about dramatic changes or grand gestures. It's about rediscovering warmth, understanding, and small choices that can reignite something beautiful. So if you've ever felt that quiet distance growing, or longed for a touch that says, "I still see you," stay with me. What comes next may just open a new chapter in a very old love story. Hello, and welcome to Comfort Corner, where we speak gently to the hearts of those navigating life after 60. I'm Michael, and I'm truly honored you're here. On this channel, we talk about the things that matter most in this season of life: love, health, meaning, companionship, and the quiet strength that comes with experience. Whether you're here out of curiosity, concern, or quiet reflection, know that this space is made for you, with warmth, respect, and care. Today's topic is one that many shy away from, but nearly everyone feels: how to keep love alive when the years stretch long behind you and routines become the rhythm of daily life. If you've been with your partner for decades, you've likely felt the shift. The move from passion to comfort, from excitement to familiarity. And while there's beauty in that comfort, many of us still long to feel wanted, seen, and cherished. In this video, we're going to explore small but powerful ways to nurture that connection, to breathe new life into your relationship without trying to be who you were at 20. Because love over 60 is different, but it's no less tender, no less important, and certainly no less worth fighting for. If that resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to Comfort Corner, where every week we offer thoughtful conversations and heartfelt guidance for living well in your later years. Feel free to leave a comment. I read them all. And if someone you care about might benefit from this video, consider sharing it with them. Sometimes the smallest gesture can open the biggest door. Let's begin this journey together, gently, honestly, and with hope. Somewhere along the years, we stop saying the things we used to, not because the feelings have disappeared, but because we assume they're understood. Of course I love you, we think. After all this time, isn't it obvious? But love, like any language, fades when it isn't spoken, and long-term couples often forget how vital it is to keep speaking in ways that reach the heart. Relearning the language of love in your 60s and beyond isn't about grand declarations or perfect timing. It's about tuning into each other again, quietly, intentionally. One of the most profound ways to begin is by revisiting something many have heard of but few revisit: the 5 love languages. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. What may have spoken to your partner at 30 might not be what they need at 70. Life changes us, and so do our emotional needs. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly asked your partner what makes them feel loved now? Not what used to work, not what seems logical, but what brings them warmth today. Sometimes it's a soft compliment. Other times it's simply sitting beside them with your phone put away, offering presence without distraction. In long-term love, it's not the volume of expression that matters, it's the attunement. Even silence can speak volumes when it's shared in comfort. A quiet morning coffee, a gentle touch on the shoulder, a look that says, "I know you." These moments are fluency in a language no one else hears but the two of you. And if you've ever worried that it's too late to reconnect, let this comfort you. The heart never retires from wanting to be understood. It's never too late to learn your partner's dialect of love, nor too late to teach them yours. Start with a question, a compliment, or a simple gesture, and you may find that the conversation of love never truly ended. It was just waiting for you to speak again. Do you remember the first time you laughed so hard with your partner that you couldn't breathe? Or the way you once looked at each other, full of anticipation before setting out on a trip or trying something new? Those moments weren't just about the activities. They were about discovery, about stepping into something fresh, hand in hand. And what many couples don't realize is that adventure doesn't retire with age. It just changes shape. In the early years, everything felt new. You were building something together, buying a house, raising children, growing careers. But as life settles and the days blend into rhythm, it's easy to forget how powerful shared experiences can be. That's why one of the most meaningful ways to rekindle intimacy is by rediscovering joy together. Not the youthful thrill of reckless spontaneity, but the quiet, mature joy of finding delight in each other again. Maybe it's a cooking class. Maybe it's volunteering together. Maybe it's something as simple as picking a new walking path on Sunday mornings just to see something you've never seen before. The goal isn't to force excitement, it's to create new memories that remind you both. We're still growing. And if you think adventure means skydiving or traveling far and wide, let that go. At this stage in life, the most beautiful adventures are often the smallest ones. Tasting new foods, learning about your partner's childhood stories you never heard, dancing in the living room without music. These shared joys are glue. They remind you not only of who you are, but of who you are together. What might surprise you next is how powerful even a tiny change in routine can be. Reading the same book at the same time and discussing it over breakfast, watching a documentary and sharing opinions, planning a garden together. These are not just hobbies, they're sacred acts of reconnection. And if you've ever felt like you've run out of things to do or say, remember, you haven't run out, you've just paused. The door to discovery is always there. All it takes is one of you to open it and the other to smile and say, let's go. There's a quiet kind of intimacy that doesn't ask for anything in return. A warm hand resting on a familiar shoulder, the simple weight of a head on a chest during a quiet evening. After decades together, many couples find themselves redefining what physical closeness means, and that's not only natural, it's beautiful. In younger years, affection often carried expectations. It was part of a rhythm driven by urgency, passion, and energy. But as time gently reshapes our bodies and our priorities, physical affection begins to mean something deeper. It becomes a language of presence, reassurance, and love, without pressure, without performance. Many seniors quietly carry unspoken worries. I don't look the way I used to. I can't do the things I once could. Maybe they don't find me attractive anymore. These doubts can build quiet walls, even in the most enduring relationships. But here's the truth. Affection is not about perfection. It's about connection. The brush of a hand, the resting of feet together under the covers, the kiss on the cheek before sleep, these moments say, I'm still here, and I still choose you. For some, physical intimacy might change due to health or comfort. That's okay. What matters most is that both partners feel safe, seen, and valued. Sometimes simply sitting together with your arms linked is all the closeness either of you needs in that moment. And sometimes it's the small touches, combing their hair, massaging tired feet, gently adjusting their sweater that speak louder than any words. And if you've ever wondered whether your partner still longs for your touch, chances are they do, but maybe unsure how to ask. So take the lead gently, offer your hand, rest your palm on theirs, let your presence say what your voice may hesitate to speak. Because in the quiet world of long-term love, touch is not about reclaiming youth. It's about affirming the bond that's been weathered, tested, and still endures. It's saying without speaking, I still feel close to you, and I still want you close to me. After decades together, you'd think arguments would be a thing of the past. But the truth is, even the most seasoned couples disagree. Sometimes it's about something small, like what brand of coffee to buy, and other times it runs deeper. Old habits, unresolved feelings, silent disappointments that were never quite voiced. And when the years stretch long, so can the silences. But the beauty of love in later life is this. You've lived enough to know that being right isn't nearly as important as being understood. Compassion, not conquest, is the goal. When we're young, we often argue to defend ourselves or win a point, but with time and love, we begin to see conflict differently. It becomes an opportunity, a mirror, a chance to understand not just what our partner is saying, but what they're feeling. Maybe the frustration isn't about the thermostat, it's about feeling unheard. Maybe the irritation isn't about the clutter, it's about wanting peace. When we listen with that kind of heart, conflict softens. And if you've ever found yourselves repeating the same disagreement for years, you're not alone. Many long-term couples fall into familiar loops, but here's the gentle reminder. It's never too late to change the dance. Try something simple, like pausing when voices rise, taking a breath, asking gently, can you help me understand what's really bothering you? Those words are powerful. They say, I care more about your heart than about my opinion. Sometimes it helps to set a new intention together. When we argue, let's try to stay kind, or let's focus on solutions, not blame. These agreements don't erase the bumps, but they cushion the ride. And every time you repair instead of retreat, your bond deepens. You've built a life together through joy, loss, change, and growth. That kind of foundation is strong. But even strong homes need tending. Navigating conflict with compassion isn't about avoiding disagreements. It's about holding each other gently in the middle of them and saying, we're in this together. Still, romance doesn't disappear with time. It simply changes costumes. Once it may have worn perfume and candlelight. Now it might show up as a warm blanket folded just right on your partner's chair, or the way you remember how they take their tea. At this stage of life, grand gestures aren't necessary. What matters is presence, intent. The quiet acts of love that live inside the ordinary. For many couples, the word romance can feel distant, like something reserved for movies or memories. But the truth is, romance thrives in the mundane, if you're willing to see it. It's in the way you greet each other in the morning. It's in the way you glance up from your book when they walk into the room. It's in the pauses, those moments where you choose to notice one another, even after all these years. One of the gentlest ways to rekindle romance is to create tiny rituals. Perhaps it's an evening walk where you hold hands, even for just 5 minutes, or taking turns choosing music to play during dinner. Maybe it's writing a little note and tucking it into their coat pocket before a doctor's appointment. These small things speak loudly. You still matter. I still choose you. I still notice you. And what might surprise you next is how deeply appreciated these gestures become over time. When everything around us feels uncertain, health, the world, even memory, these small moments become anchors. They remind your partner that no matter how much changes, your love remains steady, quietly blooming in the background of daily life. If you've ever thought, it's been too long or we're too set in our ways, let that thought go. Romance is not something you have to chase. It's something you make room for. You don't need roses or a vacation. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting together, phone-free, asking, "How was your day?" And meaning it. Because in the end, love isn't built on occasional fireworks. It's built on gentle sparks, tended daily. And those little flames, they can warm a lifetime. As the seasons of love shift and deepen, what keeps a relationship vibrant isn't youth or novelty, it's intention. It's two people choosing each other, again and again, through every gray hair, every changed routine, every quiet morning. In this video, we explored 5 gentle yet powerful ways to keep the flame alive in long-term relationships after 60. First, we talked about reigniting emotional intimacy through deep conversation, reminding us that true connection starts with truly hearing each other's hearts. Then we explored rediscovering shared joys and new adventures, where even a new walking route or a simple shared hobby can open doors to laughter and connection. We also looked at the power of physical affection without pressure, how touch in its softest forms can speak volumes about love and presence. From there, we moved into navigating conflict with compassion, shifting our focus from winning arguments to protecting the bond. And finally, we reflected on making space for romance in everyday moments, where the smallest gestures become acts of devotion. You don't have to change everything today, just start with one little thing. Maybe tonight you put down the remote and ask your partner about a favorite childhood memory. Or maybe tomorrow you suggest a short walk hand in hand. These small steps are not insignificant. They are the quiet revolutions of long-lasting love. And if it feels a little awkward at first, that's okay. Even love, after all these years, can still be rediscovered. It's never too late to turn toward each other and say, let's grow a little closer, starting now. Love in our later years isn't about chasing butterflies. It's about holding hands through storms, sitting quietly in shared silence, and knowing, without doubt, that someone still sees you, still chooses you, still walks beside you. If this video reminded you of something beautiful in your relationship, or gently nudged you to nurture it, then let that feeling stay with you a little longer. There's no such thing as a perfect couple, especially after a lifetime of change. But there is such a thing as a tender, lasting love, a love that forgives more quickly, that listens more patiently, that finds joy not in the extraordinary, but in the sacredness of the ordinary. The morning coffee, the evening routines, the simple act of sitting close without needing to fill the silence. If something in today's message spoke to your heart, I invite you to share this video with someone who might need it, a dear friend, a sibling, or even your partner. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Comfort Corner. Every week, we create gentle, heartfelt content just like this, made for seniors, filled with wisdom, warmth, and support. You're not walking this path alone. We're here to walk with you, step by step, heart to heart. I'm Michael from Comfort Corner, wishing you peace, health, and a heart full of hope.